Want to join the Sugyah Live? WhatsApp plus 19148 936 848 or email us at info@theshmuz.com. This is your chance to truly grow and elevate your learning experience. Thanks for joining today's session. The Sugyah is available live every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. You will receive More Makomos and will be in direct contact with Rabbi Shafier and the Sugyah community.
אחינו קבץ ישראל נסים בשר בשביה עומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה מוקים רחם עליהם עציר מצר לבכה מפעל אורה משיב לגולה hashta bagala zman kariv namar amen. Gentlemen, what day of the war is it today? So I counted at I'm sorry?
53, I think.
55. We had 52 was Thursday, 53, 54, 55. 55 days. Shem Yirachem. All right. Okay. The sugya we're going to start with Hadlaka Osa Mitzvah, and there are two separate sugyas here that we're going to do. We'll see which one we'll end up mostly in, but they're all related to the Hanukkah issue, and Mitzvah Hashem will get into things deeply, hopefully, Mitzvah Hashem. Okay, so let's begin. We'll start with the Gemara in Shabbos Chav Beis and Beis. Okay. Itmar. Rav Amar Ein Madlikin Minei L'ner, Shmuel Amar Madlikin. There's machlokas whether you're allowed to light from candle to candle. Rav says you're allowed to, and Shmuel says you're not. I'm sorry, Rav says Ein Madlikin, and Shmuel says you are Madlikin. Now, this is not including Mar Makomos, but it's the introduction to the piece that we're going to do, and you'll see why in a minute. Now, my Havialeh, the Gemara goes through back and forth, and finally the Gemara says, okay, what do we do with the Shiloh? Can you be Madlik? Can you light from one candle to the next or not? Amar Rav Huna Breda Rav Shiur, Rav Huna Breda Rav Shiur says, Chazina, let's see. Hadlaka osa mitzvah. If hadlaka is the mitzvah madlik minei l'ner, then we are madlik from ner l'ner. The anacha osa mitzvah a madlik minei l'ner. Now let's just see. Rashi explains to us a little bit what's going on here. Hadlaka osa mitzvah. Mitzvah shel Chanukah tluya badlaka madlikin k'ashkam menorah. If the mitzvah of Chanukah is based on hadlaka, as we see by the menorah. Now, what is Rashi saying? Anyone know how to read this Rashi? I don't, so I'm hoping somebody else does. But okay, basically, the mitzvah of Chanukah is tuli b'hadlaka, right? Again, we have a question whether it's a hadlaka that's also mitzvah or the hanacha. So if the mitzvah of Chanukah is tuli b'hadlaka, madlikin k'nash kam b'menorah. We light just like we do by the menorah.
Maybe can you define hadlaka and hanach?
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Let's jump into this. Okay. All right. What is Chazal formulated the mitzvah of lighting? So the question is, what is the Maisa mitzvah? What is it that Chazal formulated as the Maisa? So on the one hand, you could say it's the act of lighting. Hadlaka osa mitzvah, meaning the act of lighting is the actual mitzvah. That's what the mitzvah is. Or it's the act of putting down, placing the light, placing down the menorah, putting it into a place where it is going to show light. Is it the hadlaka or the hanacha? Now we're going to see when we get into the sugya a little bit more. We're going to see why the Gemara asked this question, but basically there are two different ways to learn what the actual when Chazal formulated the mitzvah. What is the mitzvah? Is it the hadlaka? Is it lighting it? That's the mitzvah, and that's where the mitzvah ends, or is it the hanacha, placing a lit menorah or a menorah and then lighting it? That's the question. Is it the hanacha or the hadlaka? All right, so far so good? Okay. No.
What is that? I don't understand what hadlaka has to do with anything.
So in his meaning, when Chazal formulated, meaning the mitzvah of lulav is to pick up a daled minim, right? I have to pick up al natilas lulav, I have to pick up the daled minim, and then I'm yotzei the mitzvah. And each mitzvah has a formula of what one does to fulfill the mitzvah, right? So, for instance, Pesach, you eat matzah. How much matzah? You have to eat it, swallow it. How much? A shiur. How much time? Right? There's a formulation for the mitzvah, a ma'isa mitzvah, and what it is and how to do it, etc. Right?
How is there pursue Nisa with hanacha?
I'm sorry.
How is there pursue Nisa with hanacha?
Placing the menorah down in a place where it will show.
It's not lit yet, right?
No, well, well, let's say the simplest way to learn it is a lit menorah. Let's say it that way.
Oh, okay.
Then it's simple, right? Meaning, all right. So okay, so this is really the question, right? So my Havilah, right? So what's the answer? So it's based on this question of whether madlik miner liner really is based on the very same question of is it the adlaka also mitzvah or the hanacha? If it's adlaka that does a mitzvah, then you could light miner liner. Why? Because it's as much a mitzvah. That's the main mitzvah. Adlaka is a mitzvah, so it's not a bazoyan to the first candle because I'm doing the actual mitzvah. But if hanacha is also mitzvah, then lighting from candle to candle is only a hechsher of the mitzvah, not the real mitzvah, and then you wouldn't be madlik miner liner. All right. Now let's just see Rashi here. Adlaka also mitzvah. Mitzvah shel Chanukah tluya b'adlaka. If the mitzvah of Chanukah is dependent on adlaka, madlikin kira ashkam menorah, then you madlik as we find by the menorah. Now, what does Rashi seem to be saying here? Anyone read this? Yeah.
Just like in the menorah, when the kohen lit the menorah in the mikdash, everything was prepared beforehand. So too, you shouldn't be able to go miner l'ner.
Well, so again, here it's adlaka, meaning just like in the base of mikdash, right? Just like in the menorah in the mikdash, it was adlaka that was the mitzvah. It wasn't the hanacha, it was the adlaka. So too, by Neiros Chanukah, it's adlaka, and therefore you can go ner l'ner because the hadlaka is the mitzvah, and it's not a bazayan to the candle because I'm doing a mitzvah with it, that which is the mitzvah. Okay, so let's just assume that's what Rashi's saying. Rashi's here referring to the menorah in the Mishkan, that if you assume hadlaka also mitzvah, meaning just like hadlaka is also mitzvah by the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash, so too over here. Good. Now,
was there how should I phrase the question? There was no iyun of hanacha on the menorah, was there?
Well, I believe Rav Chaim says there was.
There was an tamid with the mizbeach that they had to travel with an tamid.
So we're going to
was the menorah also with the tamid?
Yeah. So Shaul, I'll explain to you. This is going to be a big part of the sugyah. What was the real mitzvah by the menorah? And it's not simple. Whether it's only hadlaka, it's hanacha and hanacha. I'd rather, if you want to look at Rav Chaim on the Rambam, you could cheat a little bit and jump ahead. But I think it would be simpler just now to just leave it as here. The question is, when Chazal formulated the mitzvah of Chanukah, what was it? Was it the hadlaka or the hanacha? So the other side says hanacha is a mitzvah. V'iki mitzvah so tolei b'hanacha. The main mitzvah of Chanukah menorah is dependent on hanacha. I'm putting it down. In that case, you wouldn't light from there. Why? The hadlaka love mitzvah equally high because the hadlaka is not the main mitzvah; it's the hanacha that's the main mitzvah, and therefore you're doing the hadlaka is not really mitzvah, and you're taking a mitzvah candle and you're using it for something that's not really mitzvah. Therefore, it's not appropriate. All right. So again, let's just recap this to make sure we have this going. Chazal formulated the mitzvah of lighting. Now, what is the ma'isa mitzvah? Is it the lighting that's the mitzvah? Hadlaka is a mitzvah, or is it the hanacha? Is it putting it down? Right. So this is the Gemara's question here. Is it a hadlaka also mitzvah or hanacha? What is it? Okay. Now we're going to go back and forth, a few rayas back and forth, which one it is, and we're going to see the difference between them. Toshima, I'll bring you a raya. Dam marava hayatofas ner Chanukah va'omed. Let's say a man was holding a ner Chanukah and standing there, meaning he lit the candle while standing, and he held it up there the whole time, the whole half hour, right? Held it up there. He didn't do anything. He didn't do a thing. Says the Gemara, from here, Shema Mina, hanacha osa mitzvah. From here we see that hanacha is osa mitzvah. Okay, why is that, gentlemen?
He's not placing anything down, just holding it up.
Right. And that makes sense why he's not loss of laklum. But according to Mandam Hadlaka, what would you say?
Did a hadlaka.
He did perfect hadlaka, right? So again, excuse my guy over here, but here he is. He's standing over here with the candle. The whole time he's holding the menorah in his hand, right? So basically, we'd say the following. He did a hadlaka, right? He did a fine hadlaka, meaning Gemara said also klum. In terms of hadlaka, he did a fine hadlaka. Now, in terms of hanacha, he didn't do hanacha, right? So here's the point. The point that we say over here, lo asav lo klum. Now it makes sense if hanacha osa mitzvah. I understand why it's lo asav lo klum, because he didn't do the hanacha, he didn't put it down, he's holding it. But in terms of hadlaka, if hadlaka is a mitzvah, he lit it. So why would it be lo asav lo klum? It must be, you see, that it's a proof that hanacha osa mitzvah, right?
I just
Yeah, you know, they're both-
curious.
doesn't
Why
feel
is
like-
it not a hanacha?
Okay, meaning, okay. But explain to me why you're asking that, Baruch.
I mean, like, it may not be like Hilchos Shabbos. You don't have to put it down. Maybe you just have to put it in a place where it's doing Pirsa Maneh. So he stands there outside or by the window, wherever you're supposed to have it, and it's there. Like, who said it has to be on a surface or anything like that?
And even more than that, in terms of Hilchos Shabbos, what would this be? If he stood in that
Not
spot,
be a hanacha.
it would be 100% hanacha. It would be hanacha. So let's see if we could answer this question. Let's see if Rashi can help us out with this. Hayatov is Ner Chanukah. He was holding Ner Chanukah biyodo mishadlika ad shekavsa, from the time that he lit it until it went out. Right. So he holds the candle. He's got the menorah in his hand from the time that he lights it until it goes out. He's holding it in his hand. Va'omed, lav dafka, not dafka is omed. Elkain lashon hashas, but that's the lashon hashas. Oh, what is Rashi saying there?
Could be sitting too, I think.
Could be what?
Moving. He could be moving.
I think that's Rashi's bothered by. Meaning, when we say he's omed, it doesn't mean he's omed. It means even if he's walking around. I mean, the point is he didn't do hanacha, but let's say he's walking around. He lights this menorah and he walks back and forth, up and down a block, walks a mile, whatever. The whole time he's walking with it, right? So according to that, then everyone would agree it's not a hanacha. But
he wouldn't be talking about menorahs on top of station wagons, would he?
Maybe, right? But exactly. but that would be a good example, right? But the point is here, he didn't do a hanacha at all, but he did it meaning in that case, let's say, meaning Rashi's bothered by Hatov is the Chanukah Omeid seems to imply like he's standing there in that spot, and then you'd have Baruch's question that sounds like a fine hanacha. Rashi says lav dafka omeid, meaning the point is that he's holding the Chanukah menorah in his hand the entire time, whether he's standing there in place or he's walking. So even if he's walking or if he's standing in place, either way, lo asav lo klum, right? Lo asav lo klum, lo asav lo klum, right? So good. So he did
That
a
could
good.
be difficult, but omeid lav dafka could mean standing. Doesn't have to be standing. It could be sitting. Doesn't have to be walking. It could be lav dafka standing up.
Yeah, but that's the same thing as
That
being
would be
claimed.
hanacha.
There's-
That would be
I
hanacha.
first thought that as well, but what's the difference standing or sitting? The point
No,
is,
Rashi's
sitting would
saying
be
it
a-
doesn't make a difference.
Sitting would be a hanacha. Sitting to me would sound like a very good hanacha. Because
not
the
if,
base
not,
isn't.
not if he's still holding it in his hand,
Why not?
because he hasn't put it down.
Therefore, what?
So
He's
why
standing
is
rock still.
why is his hanacha a hanacha of the menorah?
Why shouldn't it be? If he's standing rock still, it would be considered. By the way, if you're walking in Rosh Hashanah in terms of Hilchos Shabbos, that would be it would be hanacha. It would be if you stop. If you're walking and you stop, that's considered a hanacha. Why wouldn't it be
Standing still or sitting would be a hanacha.
I would assume
Just not walking around.
that exactly.
So I don't know what Rashi meant when he said lav dafka.
So that's what I'm saying. It would be very good if Rashi meant lav dafka, rather, even if he's walking around, then we might well know how he answers your question. If lav dafka means sitting, then Rashi didn't explain anything and he stam wasted our time. If Rashi means lav dafka, but rather, meaning even if he's walking, then he answered your question, right? Because then, even if he's walking, he's la asav lo klum. Right, 1 second. I don't know. I'm not sure. But whatever the case, let's assume the simplest way to learn this is that he didn't, if he's holding in his hand, that's not considered a hanacha. It is adlaka, but it's not a hanacha. It's not not putting it down. And if you need a putting it down, he didn't do that. So therefore, the Gemara brings a raya from here that here you see that why is it loss of l'klum? Must be hanacha osa mitzvah. Everything good so far, or bad so far? Right, Baruch. I think that if Rashi means walking, then he answers your question, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. And I assume when I first read that Rashi, I mean, I read it a few times. I think that's what I was guessing Rashi meant. Now, I didn't see anybody talk about it too much, but I believe that that's likely what Rashi means. But
Or
okay.
maybe if
Yeah.
Rashi meant walking, then it's not a hadlaka either.
Well, it's hard to call it not hadlaka, meaning hadlaka means you lit it.
I know, but when you're walking around with a candle, you didn't light it that it could last. I mean, you didn't actually really light
No,
it.
it didn't blow out. It's not going to blow out. We didn't say, and it blew out. And as he lit it, and it lasts, You're right. By the way, if it blows out, that's a different case. But assuming that he lit it and it, and doesn't blow out, how does it not blow out? It's good candles, or it's in a glass thing. I don't know exactly. But the point is that it is a hadlaka. Now you're right. If he lit it in a ruach mitzuya, it wouldn't be hadlaka. But assuming that he lit it in a way that it actually lasted the whole time. And the point is, the case itself is, as Rashi said over here, from the beginning, from the time it lit until, I mean, it lasted the whole shiur. The half hour that it had to last, it lasted. So it is a good hadlaka, but it's not a good hanacha. So what do you see? So why does the Brisa say lo'as of l'klum? I'll tell you why. Because it must be that hanacha osa mitzvah. Because if it was hadlaka osa mitzvah, he did a good hadlaka, it wouldn't be lo'as of l'klum. So it must be, it's putting it down. The hanacha is what makes the mitzvah, and that's why he's lost al klum, because he never did a hanacha. I think so. So far, so bad? Okay, I assume it's a yes. Is Yaakov Goldstein here? Yaakov Goldstein's not here. Oh my goodness. Where's the Rochester Chevra? What's going on here? All right.
Oh, we're here.
We're here. Oh, okay.
Most of us are here.
But just not Yaakov. All right, fine. All right, you guys, you have to fill him in for 40 minutes. Okay, fine. All right, so this is case number one, and this is a raya that I'm not also mitzvah. Okay, good. Now, it says the Gemara, no, you have no raya. Why? Hasam haroa omel tzarchu din nakit late. I'll tell you the reason why. Really, what? Really, it's hadlaka. It could be hadlaka osa mitzvah. You tell me you did good hadlaka, so why is it loss of l'klum? I'll tell you why. Because anybody looking at him would say, why'd he light it? He lit it because it's night and he wants a candle to walk around with. So it's not nicker that it's a ner Chanukah. I mean, if a guy walks around with a candelabra, obviously I know what he's doing. He needs a flashlight. So therefore, maybe I'll say, of course, really, it is a good hadlaka. You're right, but since it's hadlaka in a way that one would look at him and say, I know what he's doing. He's not lighting Hanukkah candles. What he's doing is lighting a torch from to a flashlight. And therefore, it's not good because it's not nikah, that it's a tzorach hanes.
Looks like he's looking for an honest man.
Looks like who's that looking for?
That was me, Diogenes, walking around the streets of Rome, I think it was, with his lantern.
All right. Point being, though, that all right. So again, so the Gemara says you have no raya because really it could be hadlaka osa mitzvah, but it's not a raya. Why? Because l'maisa it's not nicker, it's not recognizable. He lit it for the purpose of a Hanukkah menorah. It might be just looks like he's lighting a candle, and therefore we have no raya. Okay, so this is raya number one, and it's not conclusive one way or the other. All right, let's move.
Why would someone think that in Hanukkah?
What?
Why would someone think like that in Hanukkah? Someone obviously in Hanukkah is doing that. I wouldn't think that.
Okay, yeah. So keep in mind, we now have street lights, but in the time of the Gemara, they didn't have street lights. The way you went around this, meaning, as a matter of fact, Hanukkah menorah was much the way you lit any candle. That's candles or lights. That was the light that people used normally for. You're right. Today it would look pretty clear that what he's doing, but in the time of the Gemara, this is how they lit they used these kind of lights. That was, as a matter of fact, there's a famous there's a raya they bring. The Titus is the Arch of Titus. So there's a famous picture of a menorah there, and people want to bring a raya. It's Machlokas Rishonim whether the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash was this way or rounded, and people try to bring a raya from the Arch of Titus because there you see the carrying the Jews out, the carrying the Kalim, and that is it's a rounded menorah. And the only problem is that in the Beis Hamikdash there were many menorahs. And that was the normal way that you lit a place up. There happened to be the menorah in the Mishkan, or the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash with gold and very nice, etc. But the bottom line is the menorah, or what we would use for Hanukkah Shiur, was the way that people normally lit their houses up. And in the Beis Hamikdash there were many menorahs similar to the menorah that was the Kodesh, and therefore it might have been that they just took another one of the menorahs from the Beis Hamikdash. It wasn't a menorah used in the Heichal to be the, you know what I'm saying? So the point is, it's not, it's not. Wouldn't be.
The Chabad, they put one in the truck.
If what?
They put the menorah in the truck. The Chabad.
That's what I was talking about, the station wagon.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Toshima, next raya. Dama Rava. I'll prove to you another raya. Hidlika b'fnim votzia. Let's say he lit it inside the house and he took it out. Now, in the time of the Gemara, the place where you were to light the candles was always outside. In the Pesach of a house, outside, because the Pesuminisa was supposed to be Rosh Hashanah. We now light inside, but in the time of the Gemara, the lighting was outside. So what does this guy do? He lit inside, which is not, he's not Yotze, it's a bad adlaka. There's no Pesuminisa there. He lit it inside Votzia, and then he took it out. We say, the Brisa tells us, Lo Asav Lo Klum, he did nothing. Now, says the Gemara, let's say you learn Hadlakos Mitzvah, and then I understand why it's La'asav L'Klum. Why? Hadlak Makoma Be'inan. You require him to do Hadlak in a place, and Mishum Halki La'asav Klum, he didn't do anything. Why? Because he lit it inside. If Hadlak is the main thing, and he lit it inside the house, he did a Hadlak in a bad place. It makes sense why it's La'asav L'Klum. Eli Amar Hadnachos Mitzvah, but if you say the Mitzvah is based on Hanacha, he put it down outside. The Hanacha is in a perfect place, right? So let's see. Here's the chart, right? So again, he lit it inside, and then he took it outside. This is the case. Case number 2. He lit it inside the house and then took it out. And Bryce tells us lo asav klum. Now says the Gemara, wait a minute. If hanacha osa mitzvah, right? I don't understand. So if hanacha is osa mitzvah, watch what he did. He lit it inside. And he did a perfectly good hanacha outside. So that should be perfectly good. And why is it lo asav lo klum? Right? Meaning it's my lo asav lo klum, he did a perfectly good hanacha. But if, on the other hand, it's hadlaka osa mitzvah, the lighting of it, then watch what happens. He lit it inside, and it's a puzzle hadlaka. Because look what he lit. He lit inside, and you have to light outside. He did it totally wrong. He did it backwards, right? He's supposed to light outside. He lit it inside, and then he took it out. But the hadlaka is the main thing. And the hadlaka was done inside. So I understand why it's also l'klum. Then it makes sense why he did a puzzle hadlaka. And then it makes sense why it's also l'klum. Right? Okay, good.
I know this is digressing, but
don't do it, Charles. Don't digress. If it's a question, I want a question. If it's digression, don't digress. If
okay.
you're apologizing before you ask a question,
I'll ask it in the WhatsApp.
No, you can. If you have a question, I love questions, but digressions are.
The difference in the first case it says lo asa v'lo klum, and in the second case it says lo asa klum.
Oh, that's not necessarily a digression. That may be either it's a diak or a kvetch. That's not a digression. That might be a valid point. I didn't notice it. Let me see what you're saying. Lo asa klum. It might have just been a different brisa, meaning the different authors of the brises. I'm not sure. Let me see.
They're both Amarava.
I'm sorry?
They're both cases of Amarava.
Let's see now. We say Toshima the Amarava also Klum. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe. Hard to know if it's a kvetch or it's a diak. I don't know. Okay, in any case, but whatever the case, the point is, though, we see that this is raya number 2, because here he lit it inside and he took it out. Now we say loss of l'klum, So now, if you want to know about hadlaka, I get it. He did a bad hadlaka because he did it inside. So I understand why it's a loss of l'klum. But in terms of hanacha, he left it outside. He did a good hanacha. Why should be loss of l'klum? All right, let's just see Rashi on this. And bifnim b'bayis again. So he lit it inside the house. V'tzil l'chutz. Kira amal el, as we said before above in the Gemara, the tzarach laniach ha'pesach beisum v'chutz. In the time of the Gemara, you had to leave it outside on the opening of your door, outside, because the Ikar Pesuminisa was for the Bnei Rosh Hashanah, for the Jewish Bnei Rosh Hashanah, not for Goyim. There's no Pesuminisa for Goyim. It's for the Jewish people. I just want to make sure we got that clear. Okay, now, Amrit Bishlam Adlaka Osa Mitzvah, Bishlam, if you say Adlaka Osa Mitzvah, Mishum Hachi Lo Asa L'Klum, therefore I understand he didn't do anything. Why? They came in the Zuhi mitzvah. So since Adlaka is a mitzvah, it has to be done in a place of chiyuv. But since he did it inside, it was a terrible hadlaka. So I understand what's lost all klum. But if you learn hanacha osa mitzvah, he put it down in a perfectly good place, right? Because here's what he did: he lit it inside and put it down outside. So if it's hadlaka osa mitzvah, I understand why it's lost all klum, because he did a bad hadlaka. He did it inside, so it's lost all klum. But if it's hanacha osa mitzvah, yes, he did the luck in a bad place, but who cares? He put it down outside. He did a good hanacha b'rishus harabim. It should be good. So therefore, we have a raya that what, gentlemen? It must be that what?
That the hadlaka is the mitzvah.
Exactly, hadlaka is a mitzvah because it says lo asa klum. It must be the only way that makes sense is hadlaka. It must be hadlaka lo asa mitzvah. Okay, good.
Maybe can you be meduk in Rashi that says for hanacha ikar mitzvah?
Yeah, because everybody agrees that you need both parts. Meaning, there's no machlokas. Everybody agrees you need hadlaka, and everyone agrees you need hanacha. Question is, what's the main part of it? Meaning, according to Mandam hanacha, if it's totally bad hadlaka, it wouldn't work either. You need some kind of hadlaka.
So in the shtibul pshat of reading Rashi, in meaning that first step of the Gemara, would you assume that the hadlaka has, meaning the hadlaka could possibly you as well if it was in the wrong place? Meaning,
no. I'm going to hanacha, no, because even a shechei rishot v'katan who did it, hadlaka would be good enough, but you need a hadlaka. Meaning, again, both hadlaka and hanacha man agree you need both parts. Question is, what's the main mitzvah? What's the main part and what's the ancillary?
Before we continue, if you're enjoying this content and want daily inspiration, join our WhatsApp group. Get uplifting messages directly from Rabbi Shafier himself. Just message +1 91489 36848 to get started.
Meaning as long as the actual item itself, whatever that you're using, is not usher, it doesn't matter where you light it in space. The hanacha would not tie it to the lighting.
Well, again, there is a case we're going to see soon enough that even according to the hanacha man, there is a case where the hadlaka is bad, and it would passel your hanacha. Meaning, again, even the hanacha man needs a hadlaka. Now, it can be done by a chev short of katan, but it has to be done l'shem Chanukah. Let's say it was done for the same. Let's say you lit it l'shem Shabbos. Right? You lit the candle l'shem Shabbos and you picked it up and put it down for Hanukkah. Even a hanacha man would agree it's not good.
So Hidlika b'fnim Rebbe is saying it's not a way of saying like, oh, maybe you're lighting it just inside stam, so that's not considered l'shem Hanukkah. That would be too far of a stretch.
Yeah, no, it's not true. Meaning he lit it inside. We know the case is he lit it inside Hanukkah candles for the purpose of Hanukkah, and he took it outside. Right now, the point is loss of laklum and proves us hadlaka also mitzvah. Why? Because according to the hanacha man, he lit it inside, but he did a good hanacha. Why shouldn't it be good? All right, it says the Gemara. No, I'll tell you what.
Is our nusach bracha, or the fact when we say the bracha, come into play with any of this?
Oy Vezmir, how much time did you spend preparing the Mar Makomos?
Not enough,
apparently. Yeah, let's go on. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so hadlaka osa mitzvah says Gemara. No, maybe you have no raya. Why? Hasum nami haro om tzarchu da adlaka. Meaning what? really, I'll tell you that it's hanacha osa mitzvah. But the problem is here, the lighting, one could look at it and make a mistake and say, he may have, whatever he meant, but one could look at it and assume that he lit it for whatever his purpose might be, namely to look around the house or just to have a light or whatever it may be. But it wasn't clear that it was done for the purpose of Neros Chanukah, and therefore it's not a good hanacha. Why? Because even a hanacha man needs a hadlaka l'shem Chanukah.
Why does it have to be l'shem mitzvah if a chereshot of a cotton could do it? How does that make sense?
Yeah, so we could debate that later. But even a chereshot of a cotton does it for the purpose of. See, a chereshot of a cotton can do a ma'isa. Now, if it's a high level ma'isa, they can't do. But let's say gadol amar gabav, they could do certain things. But meaning, or guy can do certain things. But high level das they don't have. So if all you need is hadlaka for the purpose of Chanukah, and the hadlaka is the main thing, so they could do the hadlaka, it's fine. But it has to be hadlaka for the purpose of Chanukah. So if chereshot lit for the purpose of Chanukah, it's good enough. But if you lit it for the purpose of, let's say someone looks at it and says you lit it for the purpose of looking around to find the money, or looking around the house, then it's not a good hadlaka. Jake, do you notice like I keep talking because I don't know what I'm talking about, so hopefully I'll fill the space and you won't realize that I don't really know the answer to what you're asking. Did you notice it? Hopefully. I honestly I don't have this clearly defined at this point, but we can take it as a geder for this moment. And meaning, even the hanacha man requires a hadlaka for the purpose of Chanukah. A chereshot can do that, but it has to be for the purpose of Chanukah. So again, for instance, let's say this case. Let's say a guy did a hadlaka for Shem Neros Shabbos, right? It's Neros Shabbos, and then he decided, no, let me use the menorah. Everyone would agree, even the hanacha man would agree that that's not good. Why? Because the hadlaka is part of it. You have to do hanacha of a lighting. Yes, the hadlaka has to be the part of the ma'isa. Okay, but therefore, what? As hanacha doesn't count here. Haro militzarcha with the adlaka, and one who sees him lighting inside, he's going to say, why is he lighting it? Obviously, he's not lighting Hanukkah candles. He could be lighting outside. Must be he's lighting because he wants to look around the house. He needs light in his house. So therefore, even though he does a good hanacha, his hanacha doesn't count because someone looking will say it wasn't lit for the mitzvah. It was lit for another purpose.
But can't the end of the mitzvah tell us what he did in the first part? We see in other mitzvahs that we don't know what necessarily the reason someone is doing A, but then when he does B, we know right away what the A was.
Martin is asking very, very, very good, very good. Why? Because why do we need to know why he lit it? Who cares? Why do we need to know that? Let's say
mitzvah.
Because we need the presuming nace, right? The reason is the only way you mefarsim the nace if you're lighted to be mefarsim the nace. If you're lighted to you're looking for chametz, you're not doing pirsum nace. So Martin's asking when he puts it down outside in the Pesach Beso, now Tigli Milsum, now you know why he lit it. You have the pirsum nace. Meaning, good, you're right. He lit it bad. He lit it inside, and maybe you could have not known when he lit it what he was doing. But once he puts it down outside, you know very clearly what his intentions were. You have the pirsum nace. Why is the guy putting it down there? He's putting it down there and fires him the nace. So you have everything. Why? Who cares what you might have thought?
Isn't it concerned that maybe he changed his mind? Meaning he took advantage. He said, "Oh, I got this menorah here. Now I'm going to put this outside." Meaning what he did inside seems like it's not for the mitzvah because it's inside.
Here's the point. Why do we care? Meaning he really had in mind, if he says that he had in mind the original lighting for searching for chametz, okay, fine. But let's assume he had in mind to light it inside and bring it out. The problem is someone looking at it is going to say, "Oh, why did he light it inside? He lit it inside because he's looking for chametz, right?" So, but once he puts it outside, everyone's going to understand what he's doing. Obviously, why is he putting it outside his door right there? Because it's the mefarsim and nace. So what's the problem that we up until he did that, we would have thought. Who cares what we would have thought? Now you sit corrected. You see what his intention was. Then now down l'kav schus. I think Martin's asking a good question.
If in shul, the whole idea we light in shul for Pesura Nisa, right?
Yeah.
So what if someone is walking around the shul, it's moving. So is it okay or no?
I wouldn't recommend it. First of all, in a shul, the minhag is to use a very, very tall menorah. So I don't recommend walking around with it. But second of all, if you walk around with the menorah, it's loss of laklum. That we saw, right? The Brisa tells us we don't know exactly why, because hadlaka. Not, but one thing for sure, if you walk around with it the whole time, it's not persuades.
But people are around, they see it's Hanukkah, that they're lighting in shul.
Now, you want to know today, in our day and age, no one's going to say, Litzarcho, maybe, I don't know. I mean, could be right. I'm not sure. Again, in the time of the Gemara, one could easily have thought that he lit it for his own purposes, and therefore, if he's holding it, then even according to Mandam Hadlakos Mitzvah, it's loss of Laklum. Now, you want to know, nowadays, no one's going to think that. Would it be, maybe right, but I'm not sure.
Maybe does that, we said that Hanacha Osa Mitzvah definitely requires the Hadlaka to be for Shem Chanukah. Does the flip, the flip isn't true also? If Hadlaka Osa Mitzvah is the only problem with the walking around because the fact that they may think he's using it for his own purpose, or is it just because there is no Hanacha? That also
you don't need a hanacha. According to Hadlaka, man, you wouldn't need a hanacha.
You don't need a Hanacha Bechal? It doesn't have to end up being a Hanacha?
No, I don't think so. At least the pashtus, so far from what we've seen, I don't think you need, according to Hadlaka, man.
According to him, the guy walking around, it's not necessarily because he may be doing his own purpose. It is because he thinks he's doing his own purpose, because otherwise he would be Yotze.
Well, the point, the Gemara said, according to Hadlaka, man, if you walk around holding it, you will be Yotze, except for the fact that someone looking, you will say, why is he lighting it? He's not lighting for menorah, he's lighting it for his own purposes.
It's a special exception. But
right, so that's what it seems like, yes.
Rebbe, in this step, I think Martin asked the question, he's saying that, just so I get the question, he's saying, shouldn't the end show us what the beginning really was? But who cares if the end shows us the beginning? Stam is the question, who cares what this guy thinks? Meaning, so the next guy will come and see that it's Persumenes. This guy didn't realize what you were doing. Meaning, why does his das change your action? Your Maisa was your Maisa.
Right.
And if other people, it has the ability to do Persumenes. Yeah.
Right. The action that you've done has to be an action that's far same than nace.
Sure.
Now, the problem is, when you lit it originally, one could have looked at it and said, that's not Persumenes, he's doing it for his own reason.
No, this Hanacha case. Not the first case.
Number two, this one over here?
Hilika b'fnim, right.
Right, yeah. So the problem is that when he lit it over here, one would look at him lighting and say it's a tzarech for his own purpose.
But that wasn't meaning. But who cares at that moment? Somebody thinks that the ikr mitzvah is the hanacha, and when he was doing the hanacha, the person that sees that, not because it changes what his das was, anyone else, when he's doing that Maisa will see that he's doing a hanacha of menorah. Okay, the first guy went home thinking you're a Russia. Good for him.
Good. So Martin's asking a little better than you, because what Martin's saying is, even if you tell me Tigli Milsum Freya, it doesn't. There is a Pesumei Nisa, meaning the answer to you, the way you're asking, will probably be that both parts of it have to be Pesumei Nisa, and even the Hanacha man says that it has to be for the purpose of lit for the purpose of Pesumei Nisa. Otherwise, it's chasaron in the lighting. Martin's saying now you see there is everything you need. Why? Because when you put it down, Rosh Hashanah, you now understand what he was doing originally. So you have Hadlaka with Pirsim Nes, you have Hanacha with Pirsim Nes. Everything is perfect.
Maybe by the way, I agree. Martin's question is very good. Perhaps the reisa with it isn't regarding Martin's question, isn't with the Pirsumei Nisa aspect of it as much as it is that since it's also to be nana from the Chanukah lich, and somebody might think that he's being nana from the Chanukah.
Oh, that's creative. That's clever. 1 second. Someone's going to say he's nana. 1 second. That's clever. That's clever. Now, do we ever see that to be true, though? Meaning, do we ever see a gzeira that if someone thinks you're nene, therefore it puzzles your hadlaka? I don't think I've never heard that idea, though. It's a clever idea, but we've never seen that puzzles your hadlaka. Since someone would look at it and say, I was nene from the Neiros menorah, therefore it puzzles it.
Maybe it doesn't puzzle bad luck, but it puzzles the Persume Nisa of it.
Well, but again, the problem is it won't puzzle Persume Nisa because once he puts it down outside, it is mefarsim the nace, and you know what he was doing originally, you know what he's doing now, and it does everything you need. All right, let's circle this. I think it's a good question to think about. We'll come back to it. Okay. So in any case, so this is raya number 2, and therefore raya number 2 doesn't work. Let's just recap very quickly so we don't forget what we're up to in Cheshbon over here. So again, the first raya we had was like this. The first raya, again, we have machlokas whether the hadlaka is also mitzvah or the hanacha. So the first case number 1 was the tofas ner chanak va'omed. He holds it, he lights it, and the entire time he stands right over here. The Bryce says lo asav l'klum. Now we assume that this is a perfect raya to the manda hanacha osa mitzvah. Why? Why is this a perfect raya?
Because, well, we're saying because he didn't do a hanacha. He did a hadlaka.
He did a fine hadlaka
with Persume Nisa.
Right.
But he didn't do hanacha.
The Bryce said lo asav l'klum. He did a perfectly good hadlaka. According to hadlaka man, what's wrong? Why was lo asav l'klum? He did a great hadlaka. According to hanacha man, I get it. He didn't put it down, so he didn't do hanacha. So I understand why it's lo asav l'klum. But according to this man, according to the hadlaka man, he did everything he needed to do. So why is it lo asav l'klum? Right? Makes no sense. He did a hadlaka. It's not hanacha. So it must be we prove hanacha osa mitzvah. Gemara answers it by saying no. What's the Gemara's answer? That what?
Somebody might see him and think that he's doing it for his own sake, not for the mitzvah.
Right. So even though I'll tell you, really hadlaka osa mitzvah, and he did a great hadlaka, the problem is it could be that one would look at him and say, why is he holding his menorah in his hand? I'll tell you why. For his own purposes, not the mefarsim. He's doing it because he needs a light in the street. It's dark. So therefore, it's not a person nace, and it's a 0 as a person nace, and that's why even though hadlaka osa mitzvah, he's not yotze over here. All right, that was raya number 1, and we slugged it up. And raya number 2 is from adlikim f'nim lotzia. What's the raya from here, gentlemen? Jake, this one's yours. Go for it.
If you lit it inside, but you took it out and you still put it down, then l'chara it should be it shouldn't be a problem.
You're perfect. According to hanacha osa mitzvah, it's a perfect hanacha. You put it down right over here, beautiful. Did a great hanacha. So it should be, but yet we say lo asav l'klum. Must be we prove hadlaka osa mitzvah. Right? That was the Gemara's attempt. Right? If hanacha osa mitzvah, what did he do? He did a great hanacha. Put it outside, right where it needs to be. He did a perfect hanacha. Life is beautiful. Everything's great, right? So why do we say lo asav l'klum? But if you hold hadlaka osa mitzvah, then I understand why it's really bad. Why? Because look at this guy. He lit it inside. That's not a hadlaka. It's a 0. As hadlakas go, it's a 0. So he took it outside. He put it down in a good place. But the main part of the mitzvah is hadlaka, and he did hadlaka inside its puzzle. So then I understand why it's also l'klum. So therefore, it's a clear raya that the man hadlaka osa mitzvah is correct, right? Must be and you don't have it. So therefore, it seems that we have proven that the manda amar hadlaka osa mitzvah is right. How do we answer this? Gemara says no, you have no raya. Why? Gemara says you have no raya. Why? Because
he lit it for himself.
Someone would say, meaning really, I'll tell you, hanacha osa mitzvah, and it looks like you did a good hanacha. But the problem is, one who's looking at him lighting inside would say he lit it for himself, and even though he put it down, it's not a good Persume Nisa because roeh, meaning really it could be hanacha osa mitzvah, but one who's looking at him says he did it when he lit it wasn't for the mitzvah. therefore his hanacha doesn't count, and therefore Lule Martin's question, we have an answer for the man da'amar hanacha osa mitzvah. All right, so that's number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Toshima Adam Rabbi Shuban Levi. Asisis Shaisa Delekas Delekas Kolyam Kula. A lantern, a light, a menorah that was lit the whole entire day. Meaning I lit it Erev Shabbos and it stayed over like Sarimenu's light, right? It lasted the whole day. L'motzei Shabbos, then I want to use it for Chanukah candles, Motzei Shabbos. What do? Mechabu Madlika, blow it out and light it again, and boom, Yotzei Chanukah candles. Now, if you learn Adlakos Mitzvah Shaper, I understand exactly why you say all you have to do is blow it out and light it, and you Yotzei. But if you learn Hanachos Mitzvah, Haimachabe Umadlika, what do you mean you extinguish and light it out? You need more than that. Machabe, you need to blow it out. Umagbia, pick it up. Umanicha, and put it back down. Umadlika mibaile, you need to pick it up and put it down also. Meaning,
yeah, like the schach. If you have someone has schach all year long,
right? Right, like the schach beishamai, right? Okay, good. So basically, here's the story. In other words, he lit this before Shabbos. Here's his candelabra. He lit it before Shabbos, and it lasted all the way to Moshe Shabbos. Okay, very good. It lasted all the way to Moshe Shabbos. So what do we say? Very simple. Mechaba umadlika. Just blow it out and light it again, and everything's good. Says Gemara, wait a minute, just blow it out and light it again. That's very good according to Hadlaka Osa Mitzvah. I just blow it out and light it, yeah, because Hadlaka is a mitzvah. But according to the man Amar, who holds that Hanacha Osa Mitzvah, right? Meaning, I'm saying that's good according to this man. But according to the man Amar, Hanacha Osa Mitzvah, you can't just blow it out and light it again. Because why? Because the Hanacha was from yesterday. It was a bad Hanacha. You have to do a new hanacha. You have to pick it up, put it back down, and do hanacha again. So you need there's no hanacha on Motzei Shabbos. So how could that be good? Right?
So according to the Mandi Amar, hanacha oisa mitzvah, every night you have to do a ma'isa hanacha.
Let's simply say I agree with you. Maybe.
According to this.
Yes, according to what we said so far, yes.
Every night you would have to do a new Maisa Hanacha.
Yes.
Because or else it could be a case where it wasn't Shabbos, it could just be from second night to the third night.
Whoa, B'yom Pesach, why'd you say that? That you just ruined everything. According that B'yom Pesach just slugged up the simple pshat. Because why do you need a case of Erev Shabbos? It's a machlokas Rishonim. It's a machlokas Rashi and Tosas. So let's assume the simplest way to say it is yes, you're right, Joel. That each night you need a new hanacha because it has to be put. The hanacha is the main thing. Hanacha is the mitzvah. So each night you need a new hanacha for the purpose of Hanukkah. Simply said, let's assume that that's correct now.
You say l'shem yichud, and it would say you have to put a place. So I see now the translation for it says in a place, right? A makom l'yon.
Well, we paskin hadlaka osa mitzvah. Meaning you have to be madlik it in a place, you have to light it in a place where it'll be pesuminisa, but the lighting is everything. That's the way we paskin. We don't hold like the mandam hanacha osa mitzvah. But in any case, again, the problem here is that we say machabu madlika. Again, let's make sure we got the case straight here. Right, here's the Sisis case, right? Basically, the story is like this: a guy lights a candle, Erev Shabbos, right? He lights his candelabra, and it lasts all. I'm sorry.
He lit for Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, or he lit for Hanukkah?
I don't want to answer that question. That's the machlokas, Rashi, and Tosas. Let's assume he lit it for Hanukkah licht. Let's assume simply put it, he lit it for Hanukkah licht. He lit candles. He lit Hanukkah candles. Let's assume that. He lit Hanukkah candles. And it lasted all the way to Motzei Shabbos. It's still lit. What does he do? No problem. Blow it out, and light it again, and you're good to go. That's what we say. I'm sorry?
Abdullah.
Yeah, all right. Abdullah. Okay. But the point is, there's nothing else he needs to do. He just blows it out and lights it again. Now that's very good according to the Amar Hadlaka Osa Mitzvah, because all you have to do is blow it out and light it, because lighting is the mitzvah. That's the main thing. That's everything. That's very good. The problem is, though, according to the Manda Amar holds, Hanacha Osa Mitzvah, it's not enough to blow it out and just light it. There's a step missing over there. You have to blow it out, pick it up, and put it back down. And if you just blow it out and light it again, there's no Hanacha Matzah Shabbos. You didn't do Hanacha. So how could you tell me just blow it out and light it again? It must be Hadlakos Mitzvah, and we prove that Hadlakos Mitzvah and not Hanachos Mitzvah. So far, so good?
Yeah, very good.
Very good. So this proves, case number 3, the Sis's case, proves Hadlakos Mitzvah. Okay, now, Binyan Pesach, you with us?
Yeah, I am. I just don't understand why, how do we know for sure that he didn't put it down? Maybe he picked up and put it down. It doesn't tell him that he picked up.
Okay, you're right, but let's listen at the Lashon. The Lashon says like this. Here. Asisya, I said, like Kolem Kula, a menorah that was lit the whole day. Motzei Shabbos, what do? Mechabo Madlika, blow it out and light it.
Right.
It didn't say pick it up, put it down. It just said blow it out and light it. So if you hold,
if we know that that's the mitzvah, then of course you're gonna have to do that.
Right. Meaning, so you hold the nachos mitzvah. Hai mechaba madlika, mechaba magbio manicha. You have to blow it out, lift it up, put it down, and then light it.
I can't argue this. The Gemara obviously knows logic better than I do. So
yeah. Okay. Good. But not only does the Gemara know logic better than you, the Gemara actually read itself better than you. Watch this next one. V'od minakam evarchinan asher kirishan mitzvos avitzon lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Listen to the language of the bracha. Hashem, you commanded us to do what? Every bracha is a mitzvah, defines a mitzvah. According to somebody showing him, the reason why Chazal instituted brachas on mitzvahs is strictly for kavanah, meaning what people call the hinemuchan mazuman, all that good stuff. So, according to many Rishonim, that's what a bracha mitzvah is. But l'chol pachos, the bracha a mitzvah always defines what the mitzvah is. Al achilas matzah, al natilas lulav, lahadlik ner shel. Right here, look at the language. Lahadlik ner shel Chanukah, shema minad lakos mitzvah. Meaning, it didn't say laniach ner shel Chanukah. By the way, you should know something. One of the Rishonim, I forgot it's Amiri, I forgot who says that according to Mandama Hanachos Mitzvah, you know what the bracha is? Well, no, this is bracha.
No?
According to the Mandama Hanachos Mitzvah, it's lahaniach ner shel Chanukah.
You're rapping?
Laniach, to put down, to rest, to place.
Right. So this doesn't prove it. This is just, we know this is the way we paskin, so that's why the bracha is like this way.
Well, but that's the point. Shema minad lakos mitzvah. We see, meaning Chazal are
because we paskin like this.
Apparently, this bracha was instituted by Anshe Knesset Torah before the Gemara.
Shalom, I'm sorry, one second. I can't hear. The Gemara wants to know, is it the hadlaka or the hanacha? If I see the nusach of the bracha is lahadlik, that's the answer.
If it's really true that it's trying to learn out from here, why didn't it forget all these cases? Just come right here and say, the bracha is lahadlik ner shel Chanukah, silly kasha.
Okay, not a bad question, but it's only of a ode. I think the reason why
you see that we paskin that way because of the fact that obviously we paskin that way because
yeah. So honestly, it's only of a ode. I don't think it's really a powerful raya, and I'll tell you why. Because even a hanacha man needs a hadlaka. So it could be the way Chazal. You know what? Let me not dray. Let me say, Binyan Pesach. Good question. Good question. I happen to think I have an answer, but let's leave it as.
Let's give the answers on the first day. If he's allowed to hold back.
Yeah. But I don't think this is a pivotal question. I mean, it's an interesting question, but again, according to the one, the Amar.
The point of that is that yes, obviously, at the end of the day, we hold hadlaka osa mitzvah. That's our bracha, etc. But the Gemara seems to be asking beyond that, meaning if as we said, if we would paskin hanachos mitzvah, so then we would change the bracha to be laniach.
Right. So I could be. That's your question. Your question is valid. But again, it could be that since even according to Manda Amar, Hanacha Osamitza, you still need a Hadlaka, and maybe there's a reason why Chazal wanted it to be Lahadlik Ner.
So therefore the ode is only because it's not conclusive proof, because the mice even Hadlaka person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everyone agrees Aschala is Hadlaka. So maybe they wanted the bracha going on Aschala. So that's why, but your Pashas is right, but it's only of ode. That's why it's not a powerful right.
Listen, we do.
I'm sorry, the haschala is not the hadlaka according to the Hanacha man.
Oh,
According
really?
to him, the haschala is the Hanacha.
Is that
You
true?
can't be madlik and then be meniach.
Well, but it's not it's the beginning of the mitzvah. Let's say it wasn't done. Let's say it was done for the purpose of Shabbos. Would he say you're Yotzei the mitzvah?
I'm sorry, you have to be a little bit clearer with the question.
Meaning, let's say a man lit candles for the purpose of Shabbos, and then said, "You know what? I want to do Hanacha l'shem Chanukah." According to the Hanacha man, would he be Yotzei?
No.
You told me that Hadlaka is not part of the mitzvah.
No, I'm saying that Rebbe said that the haschala of the mitzvah is the hadlaka.
Yes.
And according to the Mandiyamar of Hanacha, the haschala still has to be the Hanacha because you can't be madlik it before you meniach it in the appropriate place. That's all I was saying.
Oh, is that true?
That was the second case.
Whoa. Whoa, you mean first they have to put it down and only then light it there according to the Hanacha man? Let's say I had a lit menorah and I put it down according to the Hanacha man. Would that work?
No, that was the second case.
Really? Really? According to the Hanacha man, it wouldn't work?
Not. Why isn't that the second case? You're saying, I held it in my hand outside, I lit it outside, and I put it down outside?
The Gemara said the second case was lo osav lo klum, and according to the Hanacha man, it should be good.
Right.
That's the meaning. According to the Hanacha man, of course, that's good. Why is it good? And because Hanacha is the main part of the mitzvah. But even he agrees, you need part of the mitzvah is hadlaka. If you don't have hadlaka, if it was lit for Shabbos, let's say, you can't. It won't work to then put it down. To put it down
to change its purpose.
Right. So
maybe it has to be, otherwise we wouldn't care that the other guy would assume that you did it for yourself. Meaning the whole Gemara wouldn't make sense. The Hanacha man has to hold that if you light above 20 amos,
well, no, that may be something else. I mean, it could be that therefore part of I mean, again, the Hadlaka has to be part of it. According to Hanacha man, Hadlaka has to be part of the mitzvah. How much we could debate, but it has to be part of it.
It's the Haskalah.
Right. And again, that could be why this is only of an ode and not like a definitive, like a tema, because, I mean, the question was, how can a China, this is the definitive raya. Start with number 4. What are you bringing these other things for? Right, look here, watch. This should have been, instead of number 4, this should have been number 1. Well, you can't budge this one, it's lahadlik. So I'm saying the answer might be that's even according to Mandam Hanacha, also mitzvahs is tzchala, so maybe Chazal wanted the bracha on the beginning, but which
the only example we have that would be similar to that would be by Bedikas Abir Chometz, and there we do the bracha on the end, not the beginning.
No, we do it. But again, when do we do
Bir Chometz when we do it on the Bedika, right?
But exactly, but it's because it's the beginning of the beer, even though it's the night before.
Right, but we say the bracha on the end.
I understand. No, I'm not questioning it, but it'd be
here, according to this, would be
here be a chuluk. Watch, bishlam a beer chametz. You could argue this is part of the beer because you have to gather it to be mavaret. You can't say lahaniach. You can't say lahaniach ner shechanukah on the lighting. It look like a joke. Here, watch. Lahaniach ner shechanukah. Now I pick it up.
Make the bracha on the hanacha. Don't make the bracha on the book.
No, so the answer is because this is Atzchala, and therefore they'd want it to be on the Atzchala. Okay, now
we don't.
I'm sorry?
We don't make it on the Haskalah.
But we do though. But that's considered part of the beer, and it's the searching for it is part of the beer process. How do you mavar chametz from your house? You have to find it to get it out. You can't destroy it. So
Could we argue the same thing about hanacha, that the hadlaka is part of the hanacha process? If the hanacha is the mitzvah,
we're going to. That's why it's not such a definitive raya. It's
no,
only.
I'm saying then maybe we should make the bracha lehaniach neros Hanukkah in the beginning.
You mean according to we who hold hadlaka as a mitzvah?
Yeah, if we hold hadlaka,
Why would you do that? Why would you do it?
Because the whole purpose of the lighting is in order to do the hanacha. The hanacha is the mitzvah.
No. Again, we paskin hadlaka. Now you confuse me totally.
According to the shita that holds hanacha is a mitzvah.
Right. So yeah, and
shouldn't the bracha be laniach near Hanukkah, even if you say it in the beginning?
The answer is, I would say to you as follows. I'd say the answer is no. Why? Because it looks ridiculous. Because you're not lifting. It
doesn't look ridiculous to say al bir chametz when you're checking your chametz.
Yeah, so that's what I'm explaining. That's part of the beer process. The only way you can mavar it's a beer a whole long process to get rid of all the chametz. I have to search for it and destroy it. It's all part of
lighting a menorah. A part of the process of being meniach the menorah.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Now you can't put it down without hadlaka, but it's not all one long hanacha. Not a long hanacha. All right, let's leave it. I don't want to. All right,
anyway.
Okay, good. Now, hadlakos mitzvah. Now that we've clearly, definitively told paskin hadlakos mitzvah, hidlika cheir shod v'katan loss of klum, and therefore cheir shod v'katan lit it. It's loss of klum. Meaning, if you hold hadlakos mitzvah and a chanami cheir shod v'katan do it is good enough. But since we hold hadlakos mitzvah, it's nothing. Did nothing.
What? Can you repeat that? If hanacha was the mitzvah, then what?
If hanacha was a mitzvah, then if a cheir showed to katan lit the candle, and then a gadol picked it up and put it down into a good place, it would be a mitzvah. You find it. It would be yotzei mitzvah of hadlakas neros. Right, hanachas neros. But since we hold hadlaka osa mitzvah, therefore if a cheir showed to katan lights, it's worthless. You can't use it. You have to relight it yourself. Blow it out.
If it was hanacha osa mitzvah, then would he say equally that the cheir shod v'katan cannot do the hanacha?
No, of course he can't do the hanacha. No, right.
Right.
But can he do the hadlaka is the question. So it's since if we held hanacha osa mitzvah, so cheir shod v'katan could light it, and a intelligent person will put it down. But since we hold hadlaka osa mitzvah, therefore, if a cheir shod v'katan lights it, it ain't no good. It's nothing. It's a zero.
Is that kind of obvious?
Yeah.
Is it kind of obvious? Let me think about that for a minute. According to Nachaman, I'm not sure. I hear what you're asking. I'm not sure. I have to delve on that.
The implication is what's not so obvious. That if it was a hanacha osa mitzvah, that they can light it would be worth saying.
Well, effectively, that is what they said by saying, and now that we pass on hadlaka osa mitzvah, so now cheir shod v'katan is lost a klum. Meaning, make the diak. The inference is, if you hold it, so, but I'm not sure.
The finish is the diak, not the, what they're saying is easier. What they didn't say is what should have been said.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe. All right, now, gentlemen, the question is, what do we do now? We have the other Gemara of Chavsei and Zakaglo we have to do, and we didn't do it. But maybe we'll stop here, because why? Because this is a good place to stop and chazer, and we won't get confused that way. And we'll pick up Tuesday night. What's tonight? Tonight? No, wait. Today's Tuesday. Never mind. We go. I forgot the event more Makomos for the Shmuz. I'm negligent.
Sometimes we just do Thursday only. We do Thursday only sometimes.
Oh yeah. All right. This week is that week. Good. I thought I was going to get fired. All right. Good. Shoo. All right. All right, good. All right, so let's stop here, and we'll do the next part of Kavsei and Zakagla, which is the other Marmakoms. We'll pick up Thursday night, and by then hopefully I'll do tshuva and I'll send out the makomos for the short shmuz.
Does this mean we get a Hanukkah shmuz, or we still do a Parsha shmuz?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that question.
That's which one Rabbi decides to say.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we'll see. All right, gentlemen, we're good.
Last year was very nice because the Rebbe did the shmuz, the same Armakomis as we did the shiur. It was very
Oh, right. That was fun. Right.
For the shmuz and the shiur. It was very nice.
Right, a segue. It was good, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get away with that. Maybe I have something on the Bach. Maybe. All right, we'll see. All right, good. We'll see. All right, gentlemen, we're all good.
Thank you, Rebbe.
Okay. All right. Later, tov. See you Thursday night. Okay. Yeshkach. Okay.
Thanks for joining us for today's podcast. We'll be posting more here, so be sure to come back for new content. For daily inspiration, join our WhatsApp group by messaging +19 1489 36848 or visit theshmuz.com for more resources. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@theshmuz.com. Looking forward to having you with us again soon.